Just 1 second of distraction or a split-second decision can completely change what happens next. Let's take a look at these remarkable moments caught on camera on the road today and the safety lessons behind them. Trains have a very long braking distance, so a vehicle stuck on the tracks can quickly turn into a pretty risky situation. This lucky moment shows how a parked car can accidentally become a unique layer of protection.
Jesus Christ.
The braking system played a huge role in helping the car avoid another collision. The importance of checking a truck's technical condition before driving is always the #1 priority for safety. With 11 cars involved, the biggest headache for the insurance companies probably starts right after this video ends. High speed combined with lane changes without a signal gives other drivers less time and space to avoid a crash. The car speeding up and swerving right in front of another vehicle made the safe distance almost disappear. What city or state are you watching this video from? If you suddenly face a car driving the wrong way right in front of you, do you think your first reaction should be hitting the brakes hard or finding a safe way to steer clear? In this situation, the police baton clearly had to take on a completely different job from its usual duty to help with an emergency rescue. This is probably a situation where the rescue team really didn't want to open up another case right at the scene they were already working on. The first wave of water showed up around 3:30 p.m. before the stronger flood hit later on. Experience is very important, but wearing protective gear and following safety procedures still has to come first. The brakes reportedly failed about 300 meters before the crash point, showing that on a downhill road, this might be one of those rare times when drivers have to remember that looking up isn't exactly useless advice. Police identified the driver as Eros Gehrig and said they were arrested for driving without a valid license. Keeping a safe distance and controlling your speed inside a tunnel should be considered highly important safety rules. Luckily, both motorcyclists were able to get up after the crash, but this still shows that crossing into oncoming traffic always creates risks that are very hard to control. Have you ever seen a massive hailstorm like this with your own eyes, and where did it happen? Fortunately, as the video shows, everyone made it out without injuries. When the wind is strong enough to lift roofing materials off the ground, the priority is no longer saving property, but quickly getting out of their path. In this case, how do you think insurance should handle a car getting completely totaled, even though the driver in front was slowing down correctly with traffic? Bad weather is believed to be a factor, while a possible steering system failure has also been brought up. Great footage captures a British Airways Airbus A380 taking off from London Heathrow Airport to Johannesburg during a solar eclipse. After an incident like this, checking the entire surrounding area is just as important as dealing with the collapsed spot to prevent further risks. The most surprising part is that after the crash, the driver was safe enough to stand up and walk away. Watching out for vehicles moving strangely is still very important, even when you're driving in the right lane. When choosing a car, what do you prioritize more? Safety, durability, or performance? A clear reminder of how important it is to check tire conditions on heavy vehicles. A driver narrowly avoided crashing into a fallen tree on a storm-hit road in Seremban. Misjudging the speed of an oncoming car can make a gap that seemed wide enough disappear much faster than expected. This situation on this road shows that an unexpected blind spot doesn't necessarily have to be on a curve. In a case where both cars are completely destroyed like this, how do you think insurance should determine who is at fault? Luckily, the driver in the red car made an excellent steering move to stay safe. Video from a third vehicle can add an objective view that the directly involved parties don't have. It looks like the ceiling sent a maintenance notice a few days ago. It's just unfortunate that the final warning was so obvious. Luckily, everyone moved to a safe location. The driver's attention might have been distracted by a phone, meaning they didn't notice the car ahead early enough to react in time. Not being alert while driving can slow down reflexes right when a driver needs to make the fastest decision. The dashcam car recorded the whole thing, providing important footage to help the police accurately verify the incident. Thanks to the rescue teams, praying for everyone's safety. This is why a crane incident can become unsafe in just a few seconds when it faces strong winds. The employee was still kindly bringing an umbrella to guests in the rain, but when the lightning struck, survival instincts immediately took over. Newly released footage shows the destruction caused by a 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Colombia. This moment also shows that speeding up doesn't always help you escape a crash. Sometimes it actually reduces your chance to fix the mistake. On the Bruce Highway in Kalangura Trucks Lane, change shows how a large vehicle's size can make the space next to it shrink a lot faster. It seems like a faulty lithium-ion battery on the fan might be what caused the explosion. What do you think caused the crash in this situation? A lack of observation or rushing too much when pulling away from the curb?
Raising his spear, an arrow stuck in his shoulder, and he...
Rocks hitting several vehicles also shows that the area at the bottom of the slope needs to be carefully checked for geological risks.
Whoa! Whoa!
The pedestrian did something very simple but with perfect timing. They stopped, looked, and let the car pass before continuing. The motorcyclist wasn't paying attention at all while cutting through the line of cars. Where do you think the cause of the incident started? Just a few hours after getting the report, traffic police verified and stopped the semi-truck, handing out a 5 million dong fine and deducting 2 points from the driver's license. A knocked-down traffic light doesn't just cause damage, it can also disrupt the ability to manage traffic. Luckily, the people in the hit car weren't hurt because vehicle damage, no matter how bad, can always be dealt with later. A man in his 30s only suffering minor neck injuries is a pretty lucky outcome, considering how serious the situation was. Bethany probably didn't expect her car control course at Thruxton to have a real-life test pop up this fast. It looks like the driver only meant to back up, but the car decided to go straight through the gate and pay a visit to the wall. Luckily, the people nearby quickly worked together to help him get out safely. A truck eventually veered completely off the road, but barely missed Milot's car by an inch. A sudden lane change by a bus can leave the car next to it with almost no room to react safely. The teamwork between Thierry Neuville and his co-driver Nicolas Gilsol is an essential part.
شافر هم از کشف القدم ایتانا ما می‌دی تو عالم هم مسئولین نظارت ماست ده
The squealing tires right before the crash show that the driver tried to react in the final seconds. For motorcyclists, slowing down before an intersection or making a turn creates extra valuable safe time. Simon Somervale, going back inside just to grab his wallet, accidentally kept him safe before lightning struck the tree next door. Adding guardrails or roadside protections could be something the authorities need to look into. The exact cause of this move is still under investigation, so we can't conclude yet if it was a mechanical failure or driver error. The area that was still running normally around 6:30 p.m. had to switch to an emergency shutdown because of rising water. At an intersection, it can quickly push a vehicle into a much less safe path if there's too little room to handle it. The incident in Luling, Texas shows that moving an oversized load like a wind turbine blade across train tracks takes more than just a few escort vehicles. Luckily, the house only took minor damage. The dashcam installed just 2 days earlier accidentally caught the whole thing, serving as visual proof when determining who was at fault after the incident.
Oh my god.
On the Angeles Forest Highway, the motorcyclist had almost no time to prepare when an oncoming car suddenly spun out of control right in front of them. For the flight crew, times when they're serving drinks or moving carts are when the risks are higher if the weather suddenly changes. When walking on flooded streets, people always watch carefully so they don't run into unexpected trouble because of the bad weather. Police said the driver wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and this detail is a very clear reminder that a seatbelt is still the most basic layer of protection when a car suddenly rolls over or swerves hard. Reacting in time is sometimes more important than any property, because when rocks start falling down a slope, it's very hard to predict how big the next one will be. A level 5 heavy rain warning was just issued for Chiba. The heavy rain on Highway 225 in LaPorte shows that when the road is covered in water, a car can lose traction even before the driver spots the puddle. A horse escaping from a farm and showing up in the middle of the road is a situation a driver can almost never predict. The critical point here is that even though bicycles are smaller and more agile than cars, they still have to obey traffic signals just like any other vehicle.
He should have, like I said months ago, whether or not, something. Oh my God!
The person recording helping get the female driver out of the car is a kind act that needs to be widely shared. The commendable part is that Marco noticed the car ahead was acting strangely early on and braked in time. If you like unexpected moments caught on camera, make sure to subscribe and stick around to the end of the video because the most remarkable situations are still ahead. Luckily, the motorcyclist managed to ditch the bike and get out of the unsafe area as soon as they realized the danger. Bollards or barriers in front of glass doors can help keep vehicles from crashing straight into the lobby. Railroad crossings require drivers to absolutely respect the warning lights and barriers.
What's the address of your emergency?
Luckily, no one was hurt, but this situation shows that running a red light in a heavy vehicle can create consequences that go way beyond the truck itself. The dashcam also became valuable evidence when the driver allegedly gave a fake address and the police later figured out the real info. Just a few seconds of delay can make a huge difference when a plane is blocking the tracks and a train is barreling toward it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Just a single sign of rocks starting to slide should be seen as a warning for everyone to leave the area immediately. Dashcam footage captured the Norfolk Southern train derailment in Springfield, Ohio. How would you rate this driver's skills on a scale of 1 to 10? Staff and pets weren't hurt after a car hit the wrong pedal and crashed into a vet clinic.
Maddie's back there. Maddie wants to go. Hang on. Okay. Nobody move. Maddie, she's looking at me. She's pushing me over. Hi, Daddy. Hey, Daddy.
The car showed up right as Chris Sherburne was taking a curve when the oncoming truck suddenly crossed into his lane. Officials said the crash won't slow down the completion of the railway line. The man managed to get out before the water rushed in, as this dramatic video shows. A woman was startled when a bear honked the horn and jumped out of a parked car just inches away from her in the Lake Tahoe area. A driver braved the narrow coastal road in Gardenstown, Scotland, pushing through massive waves crashing onto their car. Emergency rescue crews were called in to help save the members trapped after the incident. Vasiliki Dolis and a friend followed the car for about 15 minutes, honking and trying to wake the driver up before calling the police, showing just how unusual this situation was, lasting more than just a few seconds. The dog in Killarney seems to really understand a traffic rule. If you wait too long, just honk the horn for a gentle reminder. Rare snow in Redding, California, turned a familiar steep road into a surface with almost zero traction.
That's fucking mad.
The most interesting part is that the dog looks pretty natural in the role of a guide. The B-17 was heavily damaged, but the crew still managed to bring the plane back and make a belly landing on the grass. May God be with you and keep you safe from unexpected incidents. If water suddenly flooded into your home like this, would you prioritize saving your documents, electronics, or quickly getting to higher ground first?
Holy shit, it's gotta go now. Whoa.
A microburst forms from a rush of cold air, slamming down to the ground and then spreading outward.
Francine's probably gonna fly away.
The value of bollards or protective barriers in front of restaurants that have tables sitting right next to the glass doors and the parking lot. What do you think with a load this high? Should checking the height be mostly the driver's responsibility or the route planning company's? Racing events are always thrilling because of the speed and driver skills, but spectators should only watch from areas the organizers have marked as safe.
On the A5117.
Two motorcyclists hitting speeds up to 90 miles per hour while going the wrong way on the ME56 is very unsafe because just one tiny mistake can lead to a major disaster.
Como que no, Edwin, si nosotros nos asustamos y ella estaba acá adentro.
In Texas, it shows that heavy vehicles can create a massive impact zone when they suddenly lose control. The safe choice isn't trying to speed through it quickly, but to hold off on moving and wait for things to settle down.
Ojalá Dios, ahí nomás, ahí nomás, ahí nomás.
Landslides can change the entire landscape much faster than what the naked eye can usually imagine.
This morning dumped 5 to 6 inches across that county, causing creeks and rivers to rise higher ground immediately. Right now, DPS and Uvalde County deputies
Heavy rain linked to Typhoon Dolphin is believed to be the cause of this, sending water pouring into low-lying areas with a lot of force.
I hope they realize I'm coming around the corner. That's going to be
Is that two trucks?
The incident near Inglewood, Queensland shows that a small car can get stuck in an extremely tough spot when the road ahead is blocked by a wrong-way truck.
Another one! Another one! Another one! I hit one! I hit one! Another one! Another one! Another one!
since the investigation was still ongoing. At the time, it wasn't possible to conclude who was at fault in the crash between the fire truck and the SUV. When walking across the street, taking a beat to stop and look both ways always keeps you safer. Modern jets like the F-35B can also run into very hard-to-control situations during the vertical landing phase.
Holcomb Bridge, going right, westbound Holcomb Bridge.
Doing 99 miles per hour in a 65 zone is worrying enough, but keeping up those reckless passes and taking off when police try to pull you over bumps the risk up tremendously.
Tango 71, I'm out with
The most notable thing is that the white car sped up just enough to escape the shipping container's path. People are always on guard and mindful of safety when sudden whirlpools pop up. On narrow two-way roads, staying in your lane and slowing down safely for curves always helps drivers stay safe. A chase in a city area always requires law enforcement to balance catching the suspect with limiting the risk to the public. With strong thunderstorm warnings, winds hitting 75 miles per hour, and large hail avoiding travel under big trees helps keep everyone safe. Jason Michael Bennett's actions are also worth noting. He stopped his car, turned on his flashers, and stayed to help until medical crews arrived. Luckily, bystanders quickly stepped in and pulled the driver out through the window when smoke started coming from the car. The driver, ignoring the police's signal to stop, caused a situation that could have been handled simply to quickly escalate into an unsafe incident. If you saw a car ahead constantly swerving and hitting the guardrail, would you slow down to keep your distance or try to find a different route?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
On an icy hill in Seattle, even the tiniest steering moves from the driver can cause the car to keep sliding. The way law enforcement kept their distance and moved slowly behind is a safe choice.
Oh my god. Yeah, can you call?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, can you call?
Yeah,
Call. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
This moment shows that driving experience doesn't always determine everything. Sometimes staying calm and reacting right in those few crucial seconds is what makes the difference. The pickleball game that day ended quicker than expected. But luckily, everyone understood that getting off the court was the most important shot right then. Have you ever seen a massive ship rise out of the water like this before? Do you think the act of using a phone while crossing train tracks should be penalized more strictly to cut down on situations like this? This moment on the Sunrise Highway in Long Island shows that a sudden medical emergency can make a car completely drift out of the normal flow of traffic.
Oh my God, right at the president.
They crash into the barrier right in front of President Trump's motorcade in Opelika, Alabama. The remarkable part is that the dashcam driver managed to back up just in the nick of time, a quick reaction that kept their car from getting directly swept into the crash. A motorcycle stuck between two tree branches shows that just stopping a little bit off could lead to very different consequences.
Into a boat. And then into a truck.
An icy hill in Pendleton, Oregon shows that even a parked police cruiser can become a hazard itself if the road loses almost all its traction. Phones don't just take your eyes off the road, they also pull the driver's attention away from watching, judging, and controlling the vehicle. After stopping the vehicle safely, the driver even immediately got out of the cab to check on and help the two girls, a highly respectable reaction after a dangerous situation. With school buses, the stop sign. Folding out isn't just to manage traffic, but to create a safe protection zone for everyone getting on and off. After a freezing rainstorm in Minneapolis, the roads were so slick that Ryan Wagner could lace up his skates and handle a puck like he was on a real hockey rink. The cracking sound right before the tree fell shows that unusual noises from the trunk or large branches shouldn't be ignored.
It's going.
Flash flood warnings were put out for multiple areas of New York at the time, showing that flooding and road cave-ins can happen at the same time after heavy rain.
slow down.
If a big truck just merged in front of you and immediately got ready to turn off, would you slow down and wait or actively change lanes to steer clear? A blown tire can drastically drop your ability to steer straight, especially if the driver still tries to keep up their speed instead of finding a way to stop safely.
Okay. Can you advise fire rescue that he's inside, but we're gonna have to figure out a way to get him out. If not, the vehicle will tip over. Take your time. Sit on the hood. Sit down. Sit down.
There you go. Watch your face.
Luckily, the situation just turned into a surprise encounter between a cyclist and a young bear instead of leading to a more serious incident. The truck driver tried to brake, but the distance was just too short at that point, meaning the truck still hit the man before it could come to a complete stop. It's worth noting that home security footage can help clear up what happened right before the incident for the investigation, especially when the view from the involved vehicles is limited. Luckily, no passengers or train staff were hurt, but the incident still caused train traffic to be delayed for more than 2 hours. When driving across a railroad crossing, drivers need to pay attention and follow the signals and the crossing guard's instructions. The cause of the incident was getting tangled in overhead power lines. The truck was stuck with no way out when the train came barreling through. This isn't good for the environment. Do you see those black streaks left on the water by the exhaust? Once a vehicle is stuck on the tracks, the priority has to be getting out of the car and away from the danger zone as soon as possible, rather than trying to save the vehicle at all costs. Strong winds at Narita Airport on May 4th, 2026, forced multiple flights to do back-to-back go-arounds, showing that landings should never take priority over safety. If you've spotted a tree leaning strangely or heard a cracking sound, the safe choice is to quickly move inside a solid building and stay away from glass doors and windows. When a vehicle catches fire, the priority is keeping a safe distance, cutting the power if possible, and using the right fire extinguisher.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The Jeep owner managing to get out of the car before the suspect drove off is a lucky detail because human safety is always more important than trying to keep the vehicle. It looks like the cyclist was having a really smooth downhill run, right until a flock of sheep suddenly decided to set up a checkpoint in the middle of the road. Do you think large trucks should be required to have 360 cameras to cut down on backing up accidents like this? Instead of quickly getting out of the car's way, the kangaroo actually seemed pretty annoyed with the four-wheeled guest that just showed up on its turf. Seven sheep suddenly ran down onto the tracks, forcing the train to slow down on its way to the station. At railroad crossings, once the warning signals go off and the gates are down, the only safe choice is to stop and wait for the train to pass instead of trying to squeeze through or beat it. The driver making an illegal pass almost turned a rushed decision into an incident in just a few seconds. The driver picked a parking spot right in the train's operating zone where just a portion of the car sticking out can lead to a crash. Seeing the car stuck, some bystanders ran over to help the driver try and move the vehicle off the tracks, but they didn't have any luck. Fortunately, EMS confirmed the pilot was safe and didn't need medical attention. When a semi-truck suffered a brake failure heading downhill on a highway in Colombia, the quick reaction from another truck driver helped stop the situation from spiraling further out of control. In New Jersey, it shows that a large tree trunk being dragged by a train can turn into an unpredictable hazard for anyone standing near the tracks.
You got him jumping on video, right?
The steel pipes have a huge amount of mass and momentum, so just one jolt from the ship can make them change direction incredibly fast. The girl was literally just one step away from the bus, showing that when you cross the street without looking that safe distance can disappear in just a matter of seconds. What do you think? Was it luck or the driver's ability to keep the car steady for such a long stretch? At speeds around 150 kilometers per hour, the car is moving over 40 meters every second, so just a 1 second delay in reacting can wipe out a huge chunk of safe distance. The amount of snow that fell was heavy enough to damage several parked cars, showing that snow piling up on a roof can become really dangerous when it suddenly slides off. When the ground underneath is weak, the entire structure above it can be affected very quickly. Do you think the act of intentionally going around closed railroad gates should lead to a suspended license, even if no crash happens? Huge credit goes to the crossing guard, who spotted the danger and acted immediately instead of hesitating while the train was bearing down. The car seems to have picked a faster than usual way to visit the store. It's just a shame nobody booked an appointment. In cycling events on public roads, holding your formation, giving clear signals, and avoiding sudden lane changes can help cut down the risks significantly. For pilots, the #1 safety goal during landing is still touching down in the right zone on the runway and keeping control of the aircraft. The key point here is that this was a test flight, so we shouldn't rush to conclude that the A350 had a problem just based on the outside footage.
Habt das gesehen?
The Condor A320 was coming in on runway 24L in Berlin when it suddenly hit a flock of birds with impacts recorded around both engines. The hard landing of the Finnair A321 at Heathrow took a surprising turn when the plane actually bounced after its first touchdown on the runway. Four RAF Lossy Mouth Typhoons took turns, pulling off near vertical climbs during the flight, creating a very impressive moment. A lot of cars kept crossing the tracks, even with the train horn blaring in the distance, showing that overconfidence can be an even bigger issue than infrastructure flaws. A massive thank you goes out to the first responders on the scene, working hard to control the fire and keep the community safe. I'm praying for everyone affected and for the safety of all those out there fighting these fires. What is your dream? Two Norwegian sailors managed to put out a distress call on VHF Channel 16, and that early contact is exactly what helped the Shetland Coast Guard quickly put together a rescue. Thanks for joining us through today's remarkable moments. If you enjoy these stories caught on camera on the road, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video.